Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we are excited to welcome the lovely Tia and Merlot to our call, as well as the girl that I'm quite certain at this point is going to steal the show, Pat's release dog, Chanel, who has decided that this is the perfect opportunity to try and cuddle with mom. So while I'm talking, my picture is featured on the screen. So Tia, you have to say something so people can see this goofball.
Oh, hi everybody.
So yeah, Chanel definitely wants to be the center of attention right now. She's like, well, can I cuddle with you? Can I be a scarf? Can I
Yeah,
wrap
Chanel
around?
hasn't quite figured out the just chill and just hang out
Yeah,
like Merlot is.
like Merlot. So Merlot and Tia are a team and they work at Regina Police's uh, Children's Justice Center. Is that right, Tia?
That's
Did I get
correct.
that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so we were just talking, and they are about to celebrate their 5 years of working together.
Next
Um,
month.
and um, not to knock any of our other guests, but this one's particularly special because I raised Miss Merlot, so it's very exciting for me to get to see her and connect today. And Chanel, my darling, oh my
And now you
goodness,
can see release dogs.
yeah. So this is the difference between a Pat's dog and a Pat's dog that chose the pet life. So um, we invited Chanel onto our live stream today because she plays a part in the team too. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. So if it's your first time tuning in with us, how this works is you are more than welcome to post your questions, comments, etc., into the comments of the live stream, and we will try and get Tia to answer them for us. And but Tia's going to just share a little bit about what they do and how they work together, and then we'll go to questions. So,
all right. Okay. Thanks, Tara. As I pick all the dog hair off my face here. So Merlot, the calm one beside me here, so Merlot and I, like you said, started working together. It's gonna be 5 years ago in June. And Merlot came to us. So I originally was an investigator at our center prior to getting Merlot. And at that time, our chief had seen Kim Gramlich and Kaber at doing a presentation. And so my understanding is that he had come back to our department and specifically to the center that I was working at and said, we want one of these dogs. Can we find somebody who's willing to do this? And so, it was thrown out to the investigators that were there, saying like, does anybody want to do this? And so we're all kind of like, well, what is it? Like, what do you do? Like, do you just have a dog and walk around all day? Like, what is it? And it was still relatively new. I think there was only 5 other dogs in Canada at that time. That would have been 2015. Well, it would have been sooner than that. Like 2013, I think, is when we started the process. But we all kind of like, we don't even know what that is going to be. So I thought lots about it, had lots of questions nobody really knew the answers to. And finally, I just thought, you know what? I did some research on my own and thought about all the files that I had done and thought about just how I thought that the dogs would be able to help at our center. So, and I was like, where else do you get a awesome trained dog and you get to create a program that's never been done before at your center? So I said, yeah, I'm willing to do it. Started the process. And I think actually Chanel is now stressed out Merlot, and who never gets stressed out. And so we started the process, and it was like, yeah, a couple years, almost like about a year and a half, I think, at that time, to when I got the call saying that there was a dog ready. And there was a few different changes in that thing that happened with us. And I think that it was meant to be that ended up being Merlot and I that were partnered together finally when that happened. And so how we use her at our center is I don't investigate files right now, but I assist our investigators. So it's a huge teamwork. I'm so thankful that all the investigators in our center and actually in our department see the benefit of having Merlot assist in the files because those investigators are doing awesome investigations and putting everything in it that they can. And then to call Merlot in to assist to try to kind of finish off kind of that missing piece, maybe that's missing, or assistance for their file. And so at our center, I guess in our department, actually, our priority is with children. So Merlot working with children. We at our center, our investigators investigate allegations of physical and sexual abuse of children from infant to age of 16, and then historical sexual assaults. And where it's our center, we have those investigators, and we also have our vice unit as well, who investigates numerous different things, but so the things that we get involved with are sex assaults of 16 years of age and older. So our priority is working with all of those individuals and our vulnerable adults. So our investigators will get a file, and if they feel that it's something that Merlot would be of assistance to, whether it's a child or an adult, they'll call us or call me, I guess, see if it fits kind of, what if I think it'll work. And then we will get involved. Usually it is to do the interview, a forensic interview of the child. And so we become involved that way. And so we're kind of that point of contact when the child enters our center, instead of kind of having that sort of, people are scared, the unknowns, they don't know what's going to happen. They're coming there to talk about some of the most traumatic incidents of their lives, essentially to strangers for the most part. And then when they're greeted at the door with Merlot, who's always like excited and over the top when she meets everybody at our front entrance, it kind of, you can see the relief of not only the children that come in, but their caregivers, whoever's bringing them in. You can see a total change in their body as well. So Merlot will hang out with whoever it is that we're meeting. Usually we show them like some tricks and stuff, like Merlot can open and close doors. That's always a huge hit with everybody, except we learned to make sure that our gals at the front know we're going to do it, because Merlot does, she puts a lot of energy into her closing of the door. So it's very loud. So we'll do some tricks and let the kids or whoever it is kind of give some commands, sort of taking control of the situation. Always have the opportunity to walk Merlot down the hall to the interview room, and they always like have the leash. And so again, it's kind of a control thing for our kids, and they can feel confident. You can see their confidence kind of building as they're giving Merlot commands and walking her down the hall. We've had some kids running. We are doing circles around our building with Merlot. But usually the kids know, like, once we get into the interview room, it's not play. Merlot has rules that she has to follow and how she has to behave when we're in our interview. And Merlot simply lays on the couch beside the person that we're interviewing. Usually that you can see whoever it is, they might be laying on top of Merlot, or is it just like slightly petting her? Might just be holding the leash. It's totally whatever that individual is most comfortable with. And yeah, she just hangs out there. Usually she snores a lot. And then at the end of the interview, as same thing, it's kind of sit there, and it's not like, kind of, it's ending on trying to end on kind of a positive note. Getting to see Merlot and whether it be her trading cards or her stuffies that we give out. And then it's sort of like we follow our people through the process. So if charges are laid by our investigators, we will work together with victim services, sometimes doing follow-ups with our people, just doing check-ins, and then we work together also with our Crown prosecutors and our victim witness specialists with the courthouses, and together we'll help, we'll assist by bringing Merlot in to sit with them while they're doing their preps for court. And then if need be, then Merlot will also sit with our people at court if it's been requested. And it's whether that be via video or in the courtroom.
So she kind of sees people kind of through the whole process.
She does. We followed, well, actually, like today, just got a phone call about a girl, and we've known her for probably almost 5 years. Some kids we followed, yeah, it's been 5 years. There's been some people, and that's what I'm always surprised by. Like, there's some kids and people that I know Merlot has had a huge effect on, that they trust. They trust us, that they call us, you know, at different times when they need something's happened. And so that trust is there with them. And Merlot has clearly had an effect on them. But then there's also people, I'll get messages. It might have been like a one-time quick meet and greet, nothing went any further. Or even just through social media, they've never actually met Merlot, but through social media, I'll get messages saying how much Merlot helps them throughout their day. Or like the people that I thought, oh, it's just a one-time thing, that was sort of it. And the connection that those people have with Merlot blows my mind. When I thought, oh, it was just a one, you know, kind of a quick meet and greet, but I will get messages from those people saying like, this is when I met her, and this is, I check her every day to see how she's doing, and she gets me through my day. And so it makes me happy just being able to check in to make sure, you know, knowing that she's helping other people. And yeah, just like this, if we're not posting stuff on social media about what she's doing for work, we do lots of stuff to know that people know that it isn't all work, that she does get to actually be a regular dog and play. And so people will comment, I'll get private messages saying, you know, I was having the worst day, you know, whatever happened to them, and this made me smile. Thank you for, you know, thanks Merlot for just getting me through my day. So there's people that we don't even know lots of times, the effect that she's had on them.
Yeah. Well, we've had a whole bunch of like questions for in here. We've been talking, I think you've answered a couple of them already. So I'm just going to like go back, lots of hellos, but I will let you, just because there's so many of them, I'm going to let you read them after the fact, because lots of, I can see lots of Merlot's fans and followers who are just saying hi to everyone. So Bahar's just asking, what did you consider before you decided to get involved with Merlot? Like the decision in terms of like, and I don't know if you can kind of speak to, I know you talked at the beginning a little bit about, you know, it was the department had kind of made the decision that this might, or the chief made a decision that this would be something that would help the program, but were there considerations for you as well?
I guess, well, I remember like I did have a lot of questions, just kind of like, well, what will we do? Right. Like at the time I was an investigator. And so knowing that as an investigator, you're dealing with the accused. And so working with the dog and the individuals who are the victims or the witnesses, I can't work with the accused at the same, like it just doesn't, handling a dog and having her, I would never take her in to work with the accused, because that's just not what we do. So like, what is my role going to change at work, which it did. We adjusted my my position, so I started a different position that was totally fresh, and then they brought in another investigator to replace me. Also, like, what is it going to be like having a dog with me? And that question, I had no clue what I had got myself into. Like, I thought, yes, okay, I'm going to have a dog with me a lot, but I don't think anything prepares you for how much time you spend with the dog, like 24 hours a day.
Or
nothing
the
prepares, nothing prepares you for the fact that you always have a dog at your side. And the fact that because so many people now, I'm kind of going off course a little bit, but because so many people know who Merlot is, you're always like, everywhere you go in the city is, oh, is that Merlot? Is that Merlot? Hi, Merlot, you know, and you are always stopping. I'm late for everything. I hate being late, and I'm late for everything because everybody wants to stop and say hi to Merlot. And I kind of justify it. I'm like, you know what? She's still doing her job. She's still working. She's still, you know, helping people, and we're answering their questions. So yeah, we're late for lots of things. Just overall, like, is having a dog, you know, I thought, I know what, oh, Merlot's gonna go lay her head on the, oh, she's just gonna shun everything, actually.
Is this Merlot's version of talk to the paw? I'm done.
What are you doing?
Murmur.
There we go. Okay. She likes, can you guys see her?
She likes resting her head. Yeah.
She likes her head on the, there we go.
Some things never change.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of hair going on. I've kind of got distracted there. Sorry.
No.
Just lots of questions. Really, like, things that couldn't be answered. Just what is this going to look like? What will this program? What am I going to be doing? Are people going to buy into it? People usually, like, if you're an animal lover, lots of people just got it, right? Like, they knew how this would help other people. And I would say, like, cops, a lot of time, you know, especially, it's like, this is how it's done, this is how it's always been done, this is how we do it, kind of thing. And we all sort of, this is what policy is. And then when you try to bring in something new, it's sort of like, oh, I don't know about that. Is that really, you know, it's kind of fluffy. And I guess dogs are fluffy, but it's sort of like, is that really policing? And so getting the buy-in from a lot of people, some people just got it. And then some people, they had to see it to believe it. And so it was different files that we worked on to help people. And when they saw the reaction of, you know, I can think of a handful of individuals who just, like, did not want to speak. They didn't want to come in and talk to the police. They just didn't want anything. And then you bring in Merlot, and all of a sudden these individuals are talking, and here we are, now we're talking, and it turns into getting their story, and now they've done it, and it's a huge success. So getting the buy-in was huge, but it's been great getting that.
Yeah, I think that you know, it's one of those things. I remember you telling me that, like, you knew the dog would kind of help you in some way do your job, but you didn't realize kind of what she brought to the equation, something that humans couldn't do, right? And
yeah,
you know, helping with that, just that calming, and that, you know, even just, and we've talked about this on some of our other calls, just that, even just the tactile, right? Like, the being able to offer kind of physical touch as a form of comfort, right? And I mean, we all know how the dogs kind of do that, but we've got a couple more questions here. So somebody's asking, does Merlot ever get stressed? And I'm going to ask you to tell us also a little bit about how Chanel plays into Team Merlot. Kind of part of that. It's very entertaining today to see the two of them, to be honest.
I don't know where Chanel actually ended up. I'll have to find if she's around. But so Merlot typically, like, she will show signs if she's getting stressed. It doesn't happen very often. There's been a couple, I guess there's been a few incidents that I can think of where she did get stressed. And one was we were at court, and we had been there a long time. There's a lot of people, and everybody was on the same heightened level, I would say. Like, even I felt like I couldn't wait to get out of there, because it was just an awful day, and everybody was just, like, up here. And so I was watching Merlot, and we still had to get through the day, but finally, like, there was a bit of a break, and Merlot just got off the couch on her own, which Merlot does. Merlot follows the rules. Like, she's not Chanel. Merlot follows all the rules. And Merlot got off the couch on her own, went and laid at the door of the room that we were in. And she just like, just give me, you know, like, give me 5. I just need a break. And so we just like, the people that we were with, they still wanted to be with her. And I said, no, like, just give her a couple of minutes. She's taking on a lot. She needs to take a break right now. And so she just kind of distanced herself for a bit. And then she was able to finish the day. And the same thing is kind of, it's when there's a lot of people around and everybody is at the same kind of emotional state. Like, we can be with lots of people all the time and she's fine. There might be just a couple people that are super stressed or having difficulties, whatever it may be. But when you're in large groups, and I can think of like critical incident debriefs that we've assisted with, and could I, if I could go back and do it again, I would have had way more dogs if that was possible, just because there was too many people kind of feeling like the same way. And so to have Merlot in there, she looked at me at the one point in the one debrief and just looked around the room and looked at me and was like, I don't even know where to start. Like, normally I can just go straight to my person. I know who needs me. And she just was like, I don't know what to do. So that's why it's super important. Like, so I just watch her signals, and we spend 24 hours a day together. So I know how she behaves. And so then that's why it's super important, whether it be if we're at court or doing an interview or whatever it is, that afterwards she gets a break and just gets to de-stress. I found that out at the beginning when I got Merlot. I never took lunch breaks. I never took breaks. And so we just kept going. And I remember calling Tara because I'm like, I don't know, something's wrong with her. Like, she doesn't want to keep going. And she's like, and Tara, you said to me, well, like, you need break. People need breaks. The dogs need breaks as well. I'm like, oh, I never really thought about that, because I don't like to take breaks. I need to go and do my stuff. And so it not only forced me to start to kind of slow things down a little bit too, but just take her out, just whether it's a little bit of walk. She loves Frisbee, a little bit of Frisbee, whatever it is, just to kind of shake that day off and then carry it. So she's able to carry on to the next person.
Yeah. And I think that's something that, I mean, we look at a lot in our dogs. And I mean, Merlot has always, like, from the time she was a puppy, would come into a room and just know exactly who needed her. But I could totally see, yeah, a room full of people that all need her. And she's like, oh my gosh, I need to help them all.
Her face is like, you've got to be kidding me.
So we have a question, and I'll take this one. It's like, are Merlot and Chanel from the same litter? And they're not. Actually, they're not even the same breed. So Chanel is a Lab Golden Cross, so they're not related at all. And the second half of the question is, why does Chanel not work like Merlot? And Chanel is the most lovely girl in the world, but she kind of beats to her own drum. And when she was at PADS as a puppy, she told us very strongly that she had a deep, deep love of squirrels and birds. Yes. And her deep love of squirrels and birds and how fast they like to run could only inspire one thing, which is to run after them. So Chanel was not a great fit for being a working dog, because she would kind of lose her brain a little bit when that happened. And she's also a very sensitive girl. But I think that, I don't know if this was by design. I think it was more for Curtis, right? That you got Chanel.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think, going back to what Tia was saying about Merlot and just having opportunities to de-stress, Chanel does play an important role there. So, I mean, we joke about it, but it's also, dogs need friends too. So tell us a little bit about the two of them and how their lives are now.
See if I can see where Chanel went. Oh, she must have just pieced out right away. Chanel. Here, we'll get her back. So Merlot's like, no.
Don't bring her back.
So Chanel, it's so funny because Merlot is like an old soul, and Chanel is kind of like free spirit. But like you said, like, she is so sensitive. Like, there's different people that I've met with while working with Merlot that I'm like, oh, I wish Chanel could be working, because she would just her personality would be so awesome with those people. But the fact that Chanel is just so chill and are like, come on, let's party, Merlot, like relax, like it's okay to do this, which sometimes now Merlots are like, hey, maybe we could break the rules a little bit. And so Chanel tries to get Merlot kind of just to relax a little bit, like don't be so like serious all the time. It's okay to like let loose and have a little bit of fun. She definitely drives Merlot crazy at times. I was telling Tara before we started today, like Chanel is very golden, like the golden in her, to look at her, she doesn't look very golden, except for the running around with the stuffy in her mouth all the time. But she needs attention. Like she needs to be with you and center of attention. And so if Merlot is always at my feet, so of course Chanel will stand on top of Merlot to get to me because she wants to see me and we need to be touching and hanging out. What are you doing, buddy? I'm not
So
sure.
she brings out the fun in Merlot, but she's also the annoying little sister.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. She's got her police officer stuffy here, so she kind of wants to be like Merlot. But Merlot has also been a really good role model for Chanel because there are commands that Chanel doesn't know that and that Chanel will just mimic Merlot, and because she wants to be like Merlot. So what Merlot does, Chanel does. Not all the time.
Yeah.
But
so Dave just came on and is asking who Merlot's parents are and are Jasper and Merlot related. And I think Jasper's dad is also Buffett. So Merlot's mom was Paige and her dad was Buffett. So her mom's a little chocolate Labrador and dad is a black lab. So and I believe Jasper's dad is also Buffett. So yes, I think they're half siblings, but sorry, I'm just scrolling through. There's a lot of comments. Thank you, everybody. So, and Merlot and Chanel are actually a couple of years apart in age. So, so Chanel went out to Tia and her husband Curtis later. They had kind of reached out to Pads that, you know, if a dog came up that was looking for a home, that they were interested in adding another dog to the household, which I think overall has gone really well. I mean, Chanel's a little bit of a, and I say this with all love because I adore this dog, but a little bit of a wingnut. So she keeps everybody laughing. As you can see, this is just through and through Nelly. So
yeah, and that's why I call her Nelly. Like she's a Nelly. Like she just, I don't know. I think Chanel, she's from the designer litter. She's like Coco Chanel, so proper, so chic, and Chanel is like Nelly's Nelly. Like let's party, like kind of hippie-ish.
Little hippie girl. So so we've gone way over time. So I really appreciate your time. No, that's okay. We don't mind at all. I just want to be respectful of your time. But if anybody else has any last questions, burning questions, please feel free to post them in the comments. And Dave just said I was right. Jasper's dad is Buffett. So there you go. They are related. And we're excited. Actually, Dave and Jasper are going to be our guests next Thursday on awesome. Our podcast. So everybody can tune in and see what the half brother is like. Oh my goodness, Chanel. So thank you. All three of you for joining us today. Merlot looks like she's fallen asleep. She's not hit the snoring stage yet, but
starting to snore.
And party girl here is just
ready to party. It's a long weekend.
Party self. So hopefully they get some nice weekends at the lake this summer. Hopefully things allow that. But we really appreciate all of you. And if anybody has any last minute questions that we didn't get to, you can post them in the comments and then either Tia or I will try and answer them for you. But thanks everybody so much for tuning in. We hope everybody has a wonderful, safe, long weekend. Monday, we are going to be back on the holiday Monday to introduce you to our newest litter, the Mr. Blake litter that was born on Mother's Day. and we'll be introducing their names that their sponsor has given them. So tune in with us on Monday, and then we'll be back with our adorable little Hollywood dogs on Tuesday. So, and it'll, I think, be almost our last podcast with them because they're going to Razors. So thank you, Tia and Chanel and Merlot and little police officer Stuffy, who's right up there too. So
thanks so much for having
for joining us.
Everyone has a good weekend.
It's been great to see all three of you. Take it easy, Tia.
See ya. Thanks.
Bye.